reckon we'll actually get through this today?
I believe so, for my estimate.
Do I
Give
need
it another an hour, hour and a half at the most.
that? Oh, right, yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Do I need that?
No, I think that's film.
Alright. Sweet.
Door to your left. And you come in the dog kennel.
Oh, yeah. No, they're all locked up, aren't they?
Yeah. It's only if you go right to the end of it, I think. I don't remember if they're released in this one's just wandering around. Nah, it's locked, I think. Don't go down there. Not bob that. So,
Can we kill them before they come out? Actually, we
think
probably
so.
don't need to waste the ammo.
Yeah. Let's use the manhole thing, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to get pizza?
Wouldn't mind a pizza. Sainsbury's, I think it's 2 for £4 sometimes. So like me, you, and Grant could share 2 between us.
I mean, do you two have uni tomorrow?
No.
You don't?
I've had my one uni session for the week. It's
Oh.
half hour. Falmouth
That doesn't
University,
sound
do it. Once a week, half an hour.
Woo!
No, it was cool today, as I said earlier. I mean, I've never been the best literal writer. Didn't get the best grades like maths or English. Anyway.
Yeah.
Then I got really good grades on all my essays last year. So I was like, okay, let's like boost up my confidence. But still, I've come from the HND onto a BA honours, so they do it a lot more formally. So, is it going to be okay with my wording? The guy goes, no, it's fine. Just are you going to reference more because there's no references in it? I'm like, yeah. That's just because that's rough. I haven't added them in yet. He says, okay, that's great. Just talk more about that's something we were talking about today. Is it coin up or coin op? For arcade, is it a coin up or a coin op? Because my lecturer thought coin op for coin operated. And I thought coin up just because I thought that's how it sounded, kind of like putting in coins that activate their the arcade.
I think it would be coin operated.
Yeah.
Coin op.
But I was saying that was going to be the biggest priority at the minute before adding in all my references from all the guys who have written essays for the 50s and 60s and stuff. Clarify coin up or coin op. So that's
actually
covered.
found books for it.
Yeah. Got a bit of variety. So, just to be formal with the media thing, new media, critical introduction.
Right.
It covers so many cool stuff, like in theories. Like from here, I've got technological determinism, which basically covers the argument that mankind kind of relies on technology, or that technology influences our mental and physical state in society. And then stuff the theory of like cyberspace and how like in the old days it was just kind of a wording to define like a non-reality, and now today it's become so real that it's not even a reality, it's like an environment. Again, what you were saying earlier about MMOs, recreational time spent with other people as well. It's like we're literally accessing a form of Matrix. So that's all from that, really useful. Obviously, history of video games, and this is really cool. I wasn't sure I would get it because it would just be history, but it did talk about some interesting stuff, like what I was saying with Grant earlier about the Dreamcast flopping. Came out and it's like had such like great advanced games for it that were so immersive, but then the PS2 comes out and that's all more just based on its kind of its processing power and its presentation. The whole corporate effects had more a financial kind of success over innovation. So that was cool. And this, just on the extra,
Do we need to save?
Yeah, we haven't saved in a while actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, when did we last save?
Yeah, because I've played this game so many times and not saving.
Yeah.
Extra lives, why video games matter. This is more just kind of a bonus on the side, I haven't used it, but
they're amazing.
It's been cool to read, and actually, yeah, what you say there, they're amazing, is pretty much what this guy says. Just talks about, the way he structures it in each chapter, is that he'll take one game, say when he first played it, and how it kind of affected him and then he kind of says how that's going to relate to the audience. You know, he's talking about Resident Evil. He's saying stuff like, "There's no camera over the shoulder."
Right.
That's
that guy.
Yeah, I can't aim and move at the same time. I can't like aim and gun and move at the same time. It takes like 15 bullets to kill one enemy. And they thinking that was a time where, again, I like playing Metroid and I blast down like 10 enemies in one go with Hyper Beam. You play Mario, jump on like how many enemies with a shell, and then you got this new survival horror where you have to be selective about ammunition and attacking.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they need to discover stuff like the effect of Fallout 3, and that's how that's become like a virtual experience. But yeah, that's all been like dissertation work. I was dreading it at first because I hate. Well, it takes me a while to actually get around to doing my work. It'll take like a month at least, and then I realise it's 2 weeks to the deadline. But when I got into it, I was really into it. The problem is because my lecturer said this video games are such a broad matter, and my original. The title was going to be basically just how video games have changed over the years and affected popular culture. And I said that's pretty damn broad, and I was like, you know what, it is. They like it when it's simple. Uni work simple, so just like how it's affected social interaction within the video game. So you look at now like derived from people hanging out in an arcade, talking to each other. Now today it's a virtual environment with like 10, 20 million people connected to a network. Even stuff like I was talking about with the rise of the internet, even though there wasn't much online gaming, you had these games that would affect people so much they would post their opinion on message boards and forums online, and then that's where the first online community came from.
Yeah. Have you mentioned how, despite not having the internet, I didn't know she was in this.
Yeah.
Despite not having the internet, everybody knew that on a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, if you blew into it, it would work.
Yeah. No,
everybody knows that.
I didn't even get told that. No, as far as I remember, the first console I ever played was Super Nintendo.
Mm.
My brothers they said, "Oh, have a go on the Commodore Amiga and stuff," but I grew up with the SNES and the Nintendo 64. I remember playing Star Wing or Star Fox every day when I come home from school, and sometimes it wouldn't work. I put it in like work, and for some reason, just out of reflex, human intuition, I just blew into it.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that worked." And now that you mention it, I don't remember anyone telling me to do that. It just came about.
Yeah. Wasted bullet.
Yeah, something I'd always like stick with. Like I'd do it for 5 minutes and it wouldn't work, but I'd keep doing it because I tell myself, I know it does work though, and everyone knows it works for some reason. It works.
Yeah. Wait, is he on the floor?
She can fire a handgun a lot faster than Leon.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, because I always thought, Resident Evil 2, like they didn't nail like being able to fire a gun fairly fast, and then I realised actually no, Ada. She could have her own like spin-off game. Just heard like the Resident Evil Sharpshooter or something like that because she can actually shoot quite fast.
Yeah. Left or right?
Behind you. Yeah, left.
Yeah, but now like it's just annoying that if your disc is scratched, that's pretty much it now.
Yeah, there's no well, unless you buy another copy for it or something.
Yeah. But then like with like PlayStation, just get it cleaned. Like,
Yeah.
I actually remember having like a disc cleaner where you just pop it in, you got like, wind it around to clean it.
Yeah, my dad bought those. My dad showed me a weird technique for fixing scratched CDs, at least modestly scratched CDs.
Yeah.
No, I mean if it's like scraped, there's no way you're gonna repair it. But if it's got a few scratches that make a game jolt a bit in the game, what he did was he put car polish on it. He lightly rubbed it around, and what that did was it's weird. It created smaller, thousands of smaller scratches that kind of cleaned the big scratch.
Yeah.
And that actually fixed the game because I had Shadow of the Colossus on PS2. and I had this big scratch on it.
Yeah.
And this one bit that kept freezing. I was like, I can't go further. And my dad's like, let me have a look at it. Let me have a look at it. And he put car polish on it. Like 5 minutes later, rubbed it off and said, try it now. I put it in and it works.
See, if you put car polish anywhere near someone's Xbox 360 disc, they'd kill you.
Yeah.
They would stab you in the face. But then they are like 50 quid now, so.
Yeah.
I sound well old now. Back in my day, they were
5 years ago, or 7. Oh, it's about 6, 7 where Xbox first came out.
Yeah. Halo.
Mm.
I was actually really stupid. I got a GameCube instead of Xbox.
I got PS2 first. And I was actually glad I got PS2 because now I think about it, that's probably got the best library of games, in my opinion.
What?
PS2.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just doesn't end. Although, as a fanboy, I'd say GameCube was my favourite because although PS2 had this massive lineup of titles, I think my most significant games of the last generation were on the GameCube. Obviously, Zelda Wind Waker, Metro Prime 1 and 2. Enjoyed Star Fox Adventures to a certain extent. F-Zero GX, one of my favourite arcade races of all time. Went on like that.
Yeah.
And I love the controller as well. That's probably my favourite game controller of all time. Although I will admit, it is crap for first-person shooters.
Yeah.
The C-stick. But any other game, like Mario, Zelda, whatever, is perfectly laid out.
How did you hold the N64? Did you do it as that one and that one?
Well, I did it as that one, but I saw who did that and then stretched your thumb over because that's how my brother did it. And I was like, why'd you do that? It's like, just feels natural. Well, that looks really unnatural. Because now that you mention it, I love the N64 controller, but there was never a game where I ever needed the D-pad. In fact, the only game I ever needed a D-pad was when I had to go on a wrestling game that my brother had.
Yeah, I was going to say I had like some wrestling one and you had to do it for certain pins.
Other than that, though, never even touched that bit. That if you look at one of my old N64 controllers, you'll see that's the cleanest bit because there's no thumbprint from it from playing at all. So I never used it ever because I couldn't use it.
No, I don't know why. I think just the way I am now, if I don't have a control stick there on my thumb, it doesn't feel right. So that's why with the N64 I have to hold it like that so you can run with it.
Yeah. No, I miss the inclusion of a joystick on any kind of controller now. Even the I like the 3DS because it's just got the one joystick there, which is really handy.
Yeah.
Although I'm a bit me and my friend were saying you've got the new Circle Pad Pro add-on, which adds a raw analog stick, so stuff like any first-person shooters or Metal Gear or anything comes out, you need to aim with a gun. That'll be handy. But two things: one, it makes it look like it looks like a knob. That sounds stupid, but it makes the 3DS look like a knob. It's puts in this weird cannibalized state of just add-on accessories. It's kind of like Sega Mega Drive when you had a Sega CD, which I didn't have because I didn't buy into it, and the Sega 32X, which I definitely did not buy into. Yeah. But you put them both on the Mega Drive, and it looks like it is on life support. And that's kind of how the 3DS looks with the stuff like the joystick. And then my friend was saying, why didn't they just have a joystick to begin with when they released it? The new games are coming out, it's like instead of having to make the add-on, just put it on.
Yeah.
Ada, wait!
Ada, wait.
Wii U opinion.
Wii U, isn't that like a pad?
It's like a giant. It's like an iPad. It's like playing Nintendo with an iPad.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I don't like it.
No.
It's just, I've just never liked Wii. It's, as far as I was concerned, because I worked at games.
Yeah.
It was always between Xbox and PS3.
Yeah.
PC is just in a league of its own. There's no point
arguing. Yeah,
just,
I'm a console gamer, but I will admit that the PC is superior. I'll say that, and controls and whatnot.
But then it's like, even though it does gaming, it's in a completely different market to what PS3 and Xbox is. And I just class that as family entertainment.
That is why it was marketed as,
It's someone's. Well, yeah, it's just not for the family. Whereas like an Xbox 360 is aimed for an individual person, for that to be their particular piece of property. Whereas it's added onto it, the family capability with Kinect. It's not based on that. It's not what it's sold as. Like literally every Wii advert, it's like a family centre. So like,
you see them like whoa, Wii Sports, which Wii Sports and the Wii Fitness are probably the best-selling titles on Wii, next to New Super Mario's. New Super Mario Bros.
Will that stay there if I leave it?
I think so.
Good.
Never tried.
I've got to pop some stuff in there.
But my mate pretty much said we want a controller because we want to play a video game. We don't want to play some family activity thing. So I did see the Wii when it first came out, but didn't really bother. We are playing off a Wii now for backwards compatibility of my GameCube version of Resident Evil 2. But
doesn't matter.
But I'll admit, my excuses was that I got it for like 30 quid last year.
Yeah.
And I sold it out. First, I just wanted it because I love playing my old GameCube games, and I wanted to get a component cable for the GameCube to make it look better on a HD TV. And they're really expensive, and it was actually cheaper to buy the Wii and then the component cable for that. But I thought, well, I'm kind of a console gamer who appreciates like older games more, just because I grew up with them and they have more impact than most modern day games do now. So I have access to the Virtual Console for older Nintendo games on SNES and N64. Plus, it's one of those situations where I actually warranted a purchase just for 1 or 2 games. One of them being, I'm a Metroid Prime fan, so that. And I'll admit, this is the one exception of decent motion control on the Wii. I'll admit, for me it was a gimmick, like 3D or whatnot, although I can't say anything now that I have a 3DS.
Yeah.
But, it was one of those motion control games where I didn't have to stand up and wear myself out.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember playing a game called Red Steel, which was a launch title.
Yeah.
And it looked quite cool aiming the gun, but then the mechanics basically made it really awkward to play, and you could not effectively play it without stretching your arm out for like 2 or 3 hours on end to have to play it, and that was really uncomfortable. And so, got rid of that. But Corruption, man, this is cool. It was going to be announced as a launch title, but then Retro Studios, who was developing it, said, no, we've got to set it back, because if we release it now, the Wii controls will suck. Yeah. So, release it a year later, and thank God they did, because I played the game 20 hours, just like that down here, and it's just so tight, the control, that, it was really comfortable for me. And it doesn't feel gimmicky. If anything, you have to do the occasional push in and out for a lever. But I guess Nintendo said throw it in because they want to advertise it as a motion game. But in terms of the actual aiming and shooting, that was really cool.
Yeah.
The one exception.
I was going to say about, like, what was it? We were saying about retro gaming, you prefer old game consoles because they're just better.
Yeah, to go into detail, but I'll do that later.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, if I ever had kids, I would make them play it.
Yeah.
Because just purely because I don't want them growing up and being like, oh yeah, remember
Modern Warfare, yeah.
Modern Warfare,
yeah.
That's retro. It's like, no, that's not your retro. What are you talking about?
The word retro doesn't mean retro classic. It's not something that's old. It's like, I was talking to a friend about Disney films, and I was saying how for me, Toy Story is a classic. And someone goes, it's not really that old. It's like from the late 90s. I was like, classic doesn't mean really old. It's something, you consider something a classic because it did so many things right. And you thought it's amazing, like 10 out of 10. And so it reaches that status of greatness that you can keep going back to it and it will stand the test of time. And it's an important thing in time. You'll go, at that time that came out. It's great. That's what classic means. In my opinion, as a gamer, I don't find anything like Call of Duty or like Halo's anything that's worthy of the status of classic, because it's not. And that's one of the whole reason I'm saying I love retro consoles like the N64 and the SNES, because my favourite games came out on those systems, and those games were classics because they pushed the technology. They're at a point where it was all about the game they play with no gimmicks or anything, and that was like the golden age for the best golden masterpieces of games.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Check out my other video because that's about games as well. But yeah, and part 2, I'd say. Thanks, Captain.
Cool. Oh, that's fine. Welcome.